What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner here for another Ginger Runner review. You guys are getting a kick out of all the reviews this year, and I'm excited because there's going to be tons of stuff to review all year. We're starting 2019 off with a bang. We've got a good one, or good ones, for you today. From Skechers Performance, the GORun Razor 3 Hyper. But in addition to the GORun Razor 3 Hyper, we have the GORun 7 Hyper. While this review will focus primarily on the GORun Razor 3 Hyper, I wanted to bring this shoe out only because I consider this like a partner shoe to the GORun Razor 3. The midsoles are very similar. This is a bit heavier duty, more long distance oriented, but I think this is a perfect example of two tools for two different jobs that can work together as kick-ass road running shoes that might be fun to throw into your rotation. All right, so here's some of the big points with the GORun Razor 3 Hyper. It's from Skechers Performance. That already is going to make a lot of you just go, really? I realize every time I review a Skechers Performance shoe on this channel, a lot of people are already taken aback. They consider it a brand that just doesn't put out good quality running shoes. I am trying to dispel that myth because, man, they've been on a tear lately with a lot of their road running shoes. The Razor 3 and the GORun 7 Hyper versions kick ass, primarily because of this new marketed Hyper Burst midsole material. Listen, you know me, I don't get behind marketing trends from brands. If they're advertising a shoe does X, I usually end up finding that it does Y, which makes me feel Z. So when Skechers was talking about their new midsole, I was a bit skeptical, as I always am, but I've got news for you. It's awesome. Upon initial look and feel, Hyperburst resembles Adidas Boost foam. It's proving itself more resilient, more responsive, yet also cushioned. The Razor 3 Hyper and the GORun 7 Hyper are proving that the shoe and the midsole work well together. It's super fun. It's great for long runs, short runs. It's proving itself adaptable to many situations, and that's why I think these two shoes go hand in hand. More on that later. So with the Razor 3 Hyper and the GORun 7 Hyper, I have a lot of things that I like about these shoes. There's a couple things I dislike. I want to get to all of that in today's review, so let's talk more specifically about the Razor 3 Hyper. Starting as always with things that I like. The midsole. Obviously, I've already talked about it. The Hyperburst is awesome. It's not only soft and cushioned, it's responsive and resilient. It's actually holding up really well. It's not bottoming out. The Hyperburst in the Razor 3 lends itself more towards speed work or long distance races, whereas the GORun 7 Hyper, this midsole, a bit thicker, a bit softer, definitely lends itself to the training runs, those long training runs or marathon runs, where the added weight in the shoe doesn't really bother you. Regardless, the midsole in both of these versions is just, it's awesome. If you look really closely, it resembles styrofoam peanut material, which I think is funny. Durability. So this shoe is actually proving itself quite durable. I always tend to look at Skechers Performance with that eye of it's not going to last. The Razor 3 and the GORun 7 Hyper are proving themselves pretty damn dependable and durable. You'll definitely be getting a lot of miles out of the shoes. Granted, when I'm running in the GORun 7 Hyper for long training runs, this gets less usage, but when I'm racing in this or using this for speed workouts, I'm definitely throwing it through the ringer because I'm a bigger guy and I'm not perfectly efficient at anything. So the shoes are holding up quite well. Weight. So this is where that midsole and the shoe in combination really shine. The shoes are really lightweight. In my size 11, the Razor 3 comes in at a measly 7.5 ounces. You're getting that cushioning, you're getting a responsive, tight, fast road shoe, but at a reasonably light weight, which is awesome. And finally, simplicity. I'm a big fan of shoes that just give you what you need without all the frills, without all the gimmicks. In this case, there's a lot of marketing behind the midsole. I think it works. The upper of the shoe is fairly simple. Overall, this is a great race shoe, speed shoe. Can you tell? It actually just says speed on it. But I've been super happy in the Razor 3 and equally as happy in the GORun 7 for those long training runs where you just need to slog through the miles. They both have their uses. They're both quite simple. They both work very well. That being said, it's not all otter pops and puppy dances. There are a couple of things I dislike about the Razor 3 and the GORun 7 Hyper. Uppers. This is where both shoes have their biggest fail points. With the Razor 3, the upper is simple, it's light, but that is also a detriment because of volume and sizing issues. You're gonna get a tight, narrow fit in the shoe with not a lot of adaptability to various foot shapes. It's a little less forgiving. The GORun 7 Hyper is more forgiving because of that knit upper, but the upper in the GORun 7 is super sloppy. I had a really difficult time getting this thing even laced down properly. That's why I consider this a long run training shoe, because you're just gonna be going straight. You're not gonna be dodging corners and that sort of thing. Otherwise, your foot would be moving all over the place in this thing. The Razor 3 does a better job of tightening it down, but because of the thinness of the tongue and the upper, the materials aren't quite as forgiving. The upper is also where I'm gonna see the most durability issues with the shoe. The midsole's holding up great. The outsole is barely there. There's not much to it, but the upper is gonna be the weak point. And I anticipate that failing before the midsole and the shoe itself. So far, things are good. Long term, we'll see. And finally, slippery. I live in the Northwest. It rains a lot. Lately, it's been raining a lot. The Razor 3 and the GORun 7 Hyper do not do well on wet surfaces. I think it's because of this rubber that they're using on the outsole. It's actually pretty resilient. That unfortunately causes it to be more slippery on wet surfaces. With the GORun 7 Hyper, you're getting pods of outsole, which are seemingly grippy, but they don't do quite well, especially with additional weight like my body, pushing more of the midsole material onto the ground, which is very slippery. So just be aware if you run or live in wet climates, they're gonna be a bit rough, even after a good break-in period. And that's actually it for my dislikes. That's a testament to how much these shoes are making me smile and enjoying some road miles for once. So in conclusion, the new Hyper Burst material, again, like Boost, in comfort and quality, but doesn't break down quite as quickly. Skechers Performance has something here that I encourage many people to look at. Don't be turned off by the brand. Don't be turned off by the branding. I also want to say just because it says speed on the shoe, it doesn't mean that we're going to be Meb Keflezighi, but step away from the brand name for a bit, take the shoes for what they are, and that's a fun, innovative step forward in midsole technology and overall comfort in a road shoe with two versions for fast racing environments or long training miles. You've got both out of these shoes, and that to me is a really cool thing. Let's get more specific. Build quality. Overall, it's holding up really nicely. The midsole is holding up really well. The outsole has barely any wear on it, but the upper is probably going to be the weakest point. Overall, build quality is holding up well now. We'll see what the future holds for it. Comfort, this shoe has got it. The midsole being super soft yet responsive. The shape of the shoe and that midfoot strike, it moves you forward, great momentum in a comfortable environment. Between these two, you have a comfortable race or speed shoe or long distance shoe. So overall, your comfort is there. You get what you need and then some. Fit is probably the weakest point of the Razor 3. It fits my foot fine, but there's a lot of vertical volume and not a lot of adaptability to varying foot shapes. The tongue is super thin and can roll on itself, cause a bit of abrasion depending on the thickness of the socks that you're wearing. Price point at $129 for the Razor 3 Hyper, and what I imagine would be a little bit less for the GORun 7 Hyper. Your price points are right there. I think you're gonna get shoes that last you for quite a while. So I think the pricing is okay. You can get last year's models for deeply discounted prices, but a part of me wants to say hold out for this Hyper Burst midsole because it's working really well. I like it. Can you tell? And finally, looks. I think this is a decent looking shoe. I really dislike the fact that it just says speed across the side of it. Let's be honest, me wearing a shoe that says speed is just essentially lying. So I don't necessarily like all that branding. Make the S smaller, keep the colors, then we're good to go. And for the GORun 7 Hyper, it's simple, it's fine, it's understated, but I could use some work. Which brings us to our overall recommendation is the Skechers Performance GORun Razor 3 Hyper or GORun 7 Hyper, a buy, try, or a why. Both are solid tries. I would say that the Razor 3 is a buy. The upper on the GORun 7 is the big problem. When they fix that mesh sock-like upper, make it a better fit, then this is a solid buy. Fun new stuff from Skechers Performance. I'm excited about it. It's really cool breakthrough for them. I hope more people get a chance to try it just to enjoy it. As always, with the shoes that I review on this channel, there are links in this description that take you to Running Warehouse. You can find out more information. Just get all those stats that you want that I'm not talking about in the review. So use them, check them out. What are your thoughts on the new offerings from Skechers Performance? Does the Go Razor 3 Hyper or GORun 7 Hyper interest you? Are they shoes that you're even going to consider? In the comments of this video, let us know what you're thinking. And that, my friends, is it for today's review. I hope you enjoyed it, because I did, and I'm enjoying the shoes. Remember, we're doing tons of reviews this year, all sorts of shoes, gear, packs, everything coming soon. And of course, follow across social media. We got lots of stuff happening. You're not going to want to miss out. And of course, patreon.com/thegingerrunner is how you can support this channel. We do all of this because of our Patreon supporters for as little as $1 a month. Consider it if you have not already. And that, my friends, is it. Two things. New album, February 26th, new music, 13 brand new tracks for you to enjoy on your long runs that have been used in videos. Some of them are brand new, haven't been heard before. The new album, Deceptions of Light and Shadow, will be available on all music platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Play, everything. So on February 26th, download it. And finally, if you want to get your ass kicked, we have a race. I can't believe it. This might be the first time I've talked about it here publicly to all of our subscribers. Tiger Claw is a 22-mile, 8,200 feet of gain trail race that we are putting on. Yes, us. Here in Washington State on Tiger Mountain on May 4th. Registration is open now. We are more than halfway sold out. RunTigerClaw.com is where you can register, find out more information. We would love to have you. It is going to be a beast, and you're not going to want to miss it. These shoes will probably not do well there. All right, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Get out there, train hard, race harder, and part of the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next week for more fun. Bye-bye.